You guys ever been watching a trailer and started thinking, can't point to anything that looks exactly like this? Still feel like I've seen it a million times anyway, while it pans over some dark medieval castle or forest or something for like the first 10, 15, 30, whatever seconds. Yeah, I've been there too. Lately I've been burnt out on, a lot of stuff, but overly fantastical settings, they've all just started to look the same to me. You guys feel it too, right? By the way, hang around till the end of the video, cause I've got a little bit of a development update on Geisted Young Hartmann. Yeah, so I've been trying to make this video for a while. I've kept failing, I think, You really want to go and watch the old videos about the same subject, then you can judge for yourselves. But now I've been coming at it from the wrong angle, cause, videos like these, right, they typically have some, setting intros, they typically have some deep lore dump, or whatever, at least one of those. That's not really what I'm about, it's counter to what I'm doing here. Yeah, so I use the term arcade philosophy, or whatever it ends up being in the title, because, I make arcade-style games, but I admittedly do sometimes use it as a shorthand for, cutting away unneeded bullshit and focusing, just on the quality of something. I feel like there's enough overlap in those concepts that I don't really feel disingenuous using it like that, But yeah, you guys don't need, to know everything that's happened in the world the game's set in to enjoy it, right? Don't need to have characters constantly, irritatingly vague posting at you about, the lore of the world, that things happened in the past, so you know that things happened in the past. Don't really need to cram in surface level references to concepts from Buddhism and Jungian psychology, those bases are already fairly well covered, I think. Shit, this was about the visuals, wasn't it? Yeah, I still think that's relevant, right? There's a lot going on with this stuff, That mindset's kind of like a contributing factor to everything feeling samey, I think, at least. People who prioritize those aspects are predisposed to, making certain artistic choices, depicting things a certain way. You get what I'm saying, right? Maybe there is something about, that mindset just bleeding through the visuals in a way we can pick up on it, but I feel like there's something there, but maybe people more, attuned to how the subconscious mind works can say it better in the comments. But yeah, Titan, my setting, the subject of this video, or... well, it's really more about... we'll get there, you'll figure it out. Titan, it's a very... what you see is what you get type of setting, it's there to provide an interesting background to arcade-style action games that get to the point, ones that are very, their narrative style is episodic, they focus more on the non-literary aspects of storytelling, do admittedly sometimes have characterization that's done through dialogue or monologues, but with those, I'm already treating it like the sonic drowning music's playing. I just don't think a character should have to say a lot for you to get what they're about, So this part might come as a shock to you guys, you might want to be sitting down for this. But I'm a fairly stoic guy. At least in the definition of, the colloquial usage of it, not being very outwardly emotional. Do you think that perspective gives me, an edge, right? Because, you guys ever noticed how games these days seem really insecure? They keep having to insist that they're cool and wacky and irreverent because their parry mechanic sometimes works on unusual things. Titan doesn't need to sell you on itself, right? Characters like Gunther, right? He's not really out there thinking, well, what would the hypothetical audience think is hype? He's trying to achieve his goals. He doesn't need to sit around and therapy speech about his feelings either. The tropical island of Lunaria, it doesn't need you to think it's anything, right? It just is, and you can think whatever you want about that. Yeah, so in the past I've said that I plan on releasing the caravan mode of Geister Young Hartmann first. I'm realizing now that I'm kind of doing that backwards. It's just hideously impractical with how I've set things up. So I'm going to be doing the campaign mode first instead. It means the plans for the demo have changed as well. I'm going to be doing a edited version of the intro route. That's the thing before you actually pick the main route of the game. I mean, I guess it's kind of implied by the title, but whatever. No, functionally it acts the same as the first two stages of an arcade game, but you know, that's need to make it a bit spicier for you guys, right? So you know, we'll see. Anyway, it'll be out pretty soon. If you want to play that demo when it comes out, or gain access to the current playable build, consider heading over to my Patreon. I have also got a bunch of other playable prototypes of my works on there. It'd also really help out the channel to like and subscribe, and even more so, clicking on the video being displayed on screen right now would help out a lot. You know, if you're intrigued by my works and you want to see more of a certain thing, let me know in the comments. Yeah.